The wealthiest people in your city are writing checks to the IRS that are bigger than they legally have to be. Not because they made a mistake, not because their accountant failed them. They're doing it completely on purpose, and the financial industry has spent decades making sure you never figure out why. Here's what makes this even stranger. These are not naive people. These are individuals who have built empires from nothing, who negotiate every single dollar in every single deal, who lose sleep over a bad quarter. And yet, every 3 months, they deliberately hand the government more money than required. The question that should be haunting you right now is simple. What do they know that you don't? Let's pull back the curtain completely, because once you understand this strategy, you will never look at taxes, cash flow, or quarterly planning the same way again. Most people operate on one fundamental belief about taxes: pay as little as possible, as late as possible. It sounds logical. It sounds like financial discipline. But that belief is precisely what keeps ordinary earners trapped in ordinary results. The self-made millionaire thinks in an entirely different dimension, and it starts with a concept called strategic overpayment. Here's the core of it. When high earners deliberately overpay their estimated quarterly taxes, they are not being generous with the government. They are engineering a psychological and operational reset that happens like clockwork 4 times every single year. They are using the IRS as an involuntary savings vault, one with zero temptation to withdraw early. Think about this carefully. If you know that $300,000 is sitting in an account you can access, human psychology almost guarantees you will find a reason to access it. A business opportunity, a lifestyle upgrade, a moment of fear during a market dip. But when that same money is technically in the hands of the government as a prepayment, it's gone from your mental accounting. You operate leaner, you get creative, you find solutions you never would have found if the cushion existed. This is not a trick. This is behavioral economics being weaponized by disciplined builders. And now, before we go deeper into the mechanics, if this kind of uncommon financial thinking is something you want more of, hit that like button right now and subscribe. Every single week, we break down the strategies that the wealthy actually use, not the watered-down version you'll find in mainstream finance content. Subscribe so you don't miss what's coming. Now, here's where the quarterly piece becomes critically important. The IRS requires self-employed individuals and business owners to pay estimated taxes 4 times per year, typically in April, June, September, and January. Most people scramble to calculate the exact minimum they owe. Smart operators go the other direction. They deliberately overshoot those payments by anywhere from 15 to 30% above their actual liability. Why does this create such a powerful advantage? First, it eliminates the year-end panic. The single most destructive financial event for small business owners is receiving a massive, unexpected tax bill in April. That bill forces desperate decisions. It creates cash crunches that damage operations, delay investments, and sometimes destroy businesses entirely. When you've been strategically overpaying all year, April becomes a refund month. That refund hits like a bonus, and it gets deployed with intention rather than desperation. Second, it trains your business to operate on compressed margins. When you psychologically remove a significant portion of your revenue every quarter by prepaying it to the government, you force your enterprise to become more efficient. You hire smarter. You negotiate harder. You eliminate waste that you would have tolerated if the numbers felt comfortable. Some of the most profitable quarters in a millionaire's history came directly after a period of deliberately tightened cash operations. Constraint breeds innovation. Abundance breeds complacency. Third, and this is the one that Wall Street genuinely dislikes, it creates a predictable capital deployment event. When that refund arrives, the disciplined operator already has a plan. It doesn't evaporate into lifestyle inflation or get absorbed by daily expenses. It goes directly into a predetermined investment bucket, a real estate down payment fund, a business expansion reserve, a market position they've been building toward. The refund becomes a forced investment cycle. 4 times per year, they tighten. Once per year, they deploy. Over a decade, this compounds into something almost unrecognizable compared to someone who simply reacts to their tax situation annually. Now let's address the obvious objection, but I'm losing the interest I could earn on that money during the year. This is the argument that feels sophisticated but completely misses the point. Yes, technically, you are forgoing interest on the overpaid amount, but you are gaining behavioral architecture that most people are simply not disciplined enough to build on their own. The return on self-discipline, on forced savings, on avoiding one single desperate financial decision in a cash crisis will dwarf the interest you gave up every single time. The greatest financial losses in any entrepreneur's life never come from suboptimal interest allocation. They come from panic decisions, from cash flow emergencies, from taking a bad deal because there was no runway to wait for a good one. The quarterly overpayment strategy eliminates that vulnerability entirely. There is also a secondary benefit that nobody talks about. Your relationship with your accountant transforms. When your CPA knows you are strategically overpaying and expects a refund, the entire conversation shifts from crisis management to growth planning. You are no longer a client who needs to be saved from a problem. You are a client who needs to be helped to reach the next level. That shift in dynamic produces better advice, more proactive planning, and a financial team that is genuinely working forward with you. The self-made millionaire is not overpaying taxes because they love the government. They are overpaying because they love the version of their business that emerges from the discipline this strategy demands. Every quarter, they make a choice that feels counterintuitive. And every year, that choice compounds into freedom that most people will spend their entire careers trying to understand. You now understand it. The next step is yours. Subscribe to this channel because the strategies we cover here are not found in mainstream financial advice. They are the real mechanics behind real wealth. And share this video with one person who is still fighting their taxes instead of using them. That single conversation could change everything for them. The wealthy think in systems. Now you do too.